Hey everybody, welcome in or welcome back. This is Miss Tarot, and today we are going to tune in to receive messages that are directly from your higher self. So if you have been seeking clarity or inner peace or just some guidance, this reading is going to be for you. And without further ado, we are going to jump right in. We are going to, if you watched my recent bite-sized tarot reading, I'm going to use the same cards. I really like these ones right now. So let's take a look and see. For those of you who like to know, this is the, no, I was going to say Wild Unknown. It's Wild Reflections Tarot. And I haven't used the Enchanted Map Oracle in a while, so that's what we're going to use. I'm also going to pull some oracle cards at the end for your spirit, but for spirit messages or messages from your higher self, but we'll get going. So we have 46 coming apart, which equals a 10, which equals a 1, end of cycles. We have storm fields, number 9. We have spark with the numbers 34, reducing to 7. And then we have mountain with the number 6. Okay, so let's kind of just pause a second and take a look at what these oracles are pretty much trying to tell us in the moment. And hopefully my puppy Sadie is not going to be bouncing around too much in the background, so where it's not so much of a distraction. So the coming apart is really the main overall energy for this, is letting you know that now's the time to take separate paths. The coming apart card is assigned to put an end to whatever is no longer working for you. So taking a look, it's like, has a commitment been broken? Perhaps you need to break a promise or, change course because you took on more than what you can handle. So, this particular card is a real perfect moment to reassess your goals and values and making sure that your actions are aligned with what you believe in. So this really speaks to your higher self, because your higher self is obviously, you in the future in terms of, and your, your higher conscious, okay? And really trying to make sure that you are doing the best things for yourself that lead to your higher purpose, that lead to your higher good. And excuse me, it's, if there's a situation that is unraveling, I think that it's more about allowing these things to kind of fall apart and fall away from you, rather it is to fight to keep things together. So if there's things that are naturally evolving in your life that you kind of see are the end of something, definitely kind of take note of that and understand that this is probably something that needs to leave your life for your greater good. Okay. And then when we come into storm fields, I think this one obviously is a reminder, especially since it's coming right after the coming apart card, is that, just like any storm that can be kind of ravaging, this is going to pass, right? So it's a reassurance card. It's, when there's uncomfortable chaos or even a separating of issues that have kind of left you feeling conflicted, it's just kind of like the card shows, just like a storm in nature is going to break and dissipate, the events in which the coming apart is happening, it's going to create temporary disorder, but it's not all storms are destructive, right? If you think about it, storms serve nature by bringing rain, and enabling, they blow wind, right? Which allows seeds to be distributed and continual growth and that sort of thing. So just remember that whatever's being stirred up inside you or between you and another person, or whatever it is that is leaving you right now, is going to benefit you later, and the sun's going to come out again. Okay. So just, don't be afraid to shake things up a little is kind of the overall energy there. And then when we come to spark, so spark is the number 34, which is sevens, and sevens are kind of like rebuilding. there is, with this particular card, the spark is about having a clear path or a clear signal, I would say, for divine creativity. So, there is a strong link right now between you and your higher self, to where you are in a really good place to align yourself with what is most beneficial to you right now. And there's a lot of creativity within you that I'm seeing right now, and that's giving you every reason to move forward with optimism and hope. Okay. And this is funny because I think this reading will come out around the same time as my bite-sized tarot reading. I'm going to link it up above, but they're both, I get the sense that this might be a more in-depth reading than the bite-sized one, because it's following the same trajectory and actually the same overall themes. So if you listen to the bite-sized tarot reading, and you're here, this is probably a continuation. Or if you're listening to this and maybe need a little bit more of a bite-sized insight, check that reading out as well. But back to spark. So opening yourself to inspiration and allowing life to really show you its beauty is part of co-creating it. So, I really think that this is the perfect time for you to take what is leaving and create the most out of it, right? And get yourself closer to your higher self, your higher consciousness, your best self. Okay. It's definitely something that is going to be encouraging. And then when it comes to the mountain is kind of a card based on, it's another reminder card. So we have these two these two are more of a reminder card, and this one is definitely more of a direction. But the mountain is letting you know that you have the capacity to kind of flow around any obstacle, and that this is the time to kind of pivot, to adapt, to change course. When it comes to the coming apart card in the storm fields, it's, sometimes you're going to come across what appears to be an insurmountable type obstacle, kind of like a huge mountain that separates you from whatever your goal is, or from your higher self in this kind of a reading. And you're going to think, I know I've talked about this before in other readings, but when it comes to the mountain card, you might think that climbing or maybe chiseling your way through it is kind of the answer. But, it's always like saying, why do you take such a tedious approach, right? With this one, and I know in other readings I've mentioned, being like a river and flowing around these mountains naturally. You're going to move past all the obstacles relatively quickly if you choose the easy way around. Not everything has to be the grind, right? So this is the kind of a time to survey what's going on, adapt, and, change your circumstances, right? If you do decide to climb, just remember to take, one step at a time, because, consistent forward movement is definitely going to get you closer to your goal than it is to, sit there and just bang with a hammer at a rock that doesn't want to go anywhere. You know what I mean? So just remember, you're always moving forward. There's just different speeds at which we can move forward. So let's see what your higher self has to say about this stuff. I'll get a couple cards for each of these oracles, or you know what? We're going to let Spirit throw out whatever the heck they want, actually, but I would like to, just because I like it that way. But let's see. Can you tell me about the coming apart? Cool. Aha! We have the Devil and the Star. Wow. Okay. So God, this just brings me right back to the bite-sized tarot reading too. And we had the Tower and we had the Moon, right? The Devil is about being chained and being held to things that are bad for us, that are definitely not serving us. What is keeping you? Your higher self is trying to tell you, what are these things that are keeping us from being connected? Why haven't you let these go? Why are you still tethering these two? These are anchors. These are keeping you down at the surface when your soul wants to elevate. The Star here is talking about making that wish, making that intention, and kind of like dreaming big. The only thing that's really kind of holding you back is yourself. at this point. Or, well, it is. I'm sorry. But even though we are tethered to certain things, it could be behaviors, it could be patterns, it could be somebody else, it's still a choice to remain in it. We have free will. Please cut those ropes is kind of the higher, the message that you're getting from your higher self. Please, you don't even know what is possible right now with the star card. The star card is wish fulfillment. It's doors opening up on all levels. You just need to cut the cord. Okay, so that was a very, very big message from Spirit when it comes to coming apart. And, with the coming apart, we did talk about it needing to leave you, right? So I'm not surprised that the Devil card came here. Anything that is associated with the Devil card is not for our highest good. So just take this as a huge sign that you are being grounded and tethered not in a good place. So the Star card invites you to pretty much plan big, make a wish, and get rid of these, sever those ties, because you're going to elevate. Okay? Enough said. No more lectures. I don't know why I'm shuffling. All right. I don't know why I'm shuffling. Let's do Stormfields. All right, what is the storm? Oh, here we go. 5 of Cups. Sensing a relationship. Okay, Page of Wands. Yeah, okay. Well, so we have the Page of Wands with the 5 of Cups. And the 5 of Cups is disappointment. I really think that somebody I don't mean this in a love sense, although it could be for a lot of you, there is a relationship that has let you down and definitely is no longer serving you. But you do feel guilty about cutting it loose, because maybe you're very tied to this particular person and you feel guilty abandoning them. Maybe that's what you're feeling, is feeling abandoned and not able to let this person go on their own. And I understand that it's the Page of Wands here. And what do I want to say about this guy? What I want to say about the 10, or I'm sorry, not the 10, but the Page of Wands, is this person represents a lot of inspiration and energy. So this person also on the negative side, when it comes to, weathering the storm and not wanting to move forward or being disappointed in an emotional sense with the 5 of Cups, this particular person, the Page of Wands, can also be hasty. They have tantrums, they can be very volatile in terms of how they behave. Maybe they're unreliable. We could take it as a person, or we could take it symbolically in the fact that, maybe a lot of your problems are caused by haste and inconsistency, and maybe you don't feel stable in whatever is holding you back right now. So that's part of it, and removing it is definitely going to be challenging. You're going to have to definitely put in the work, because on the positive side of the Page of Wands, he's excitement, he's fresh ideas, kind of fearless and very extroverted, right? And with the 5 of Cups, maybe you are just disillusioned and disappointment with either a particular person that is kind of being your anchor, or maybe it's your own behaviors that is the anchor right now. Really take a look. And with the Storm card, I really do think that also it can kind of speak to doing a little bit of shadow work, right? Because we're pulling all these negative energies up in ourselves, kind of like creating a storm, and we're just going to let them loose, right? So think of it kind of like baby shadow work. It's stirring all of those things up. Think of like, I don't know, like dirt settling at the bottom of a cup or something. And we're stirring all that up, and everything's going to be really, really cloudy for a little while, kind of like the storm. And then everything's going to settle, and we're going to be able to remove the rest of this gunk, that whatever this is, that's the devil energy that's holding you back, that's holding you from being, closer to your higher self, closer to your main potential and your actual purpose in life, right? So let's take a look at Spark. Oops. Tell me about Spark. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, we got 3 cards for Spark, so we're just going to take them. We have the Emperor, taking control of situations. Awesome. We have the 9 of Pentacles, which speaks to abundance. And then we have the 3 of Cups, which is, celebration. It's such a happy vibe card. It's being with kind of like, I used this in a reading not that long ago, but it's kind of like, it reminds me of being in like a sisterhood. It's a supportive network kind of, it's community, it's celebrations, it's a very positive card that kind of represents, joy and festivities and milestone and achievements and just, overall friendship. So we're going to take a look at these 3. I'm just going to kind of spread these out so you can kind of see here. That, I don't know if that helps. Does it help? Does it help? So we got the Emperor, okay? And you have a lot of major arcana in this reading, which is really interesting to me. But what do I want to say here? I think what I'm trying to take, what your higher self is trying to, how do I want to say this? What they're trying to say in the very most basic way is that, like I said, with the creativity and kind of like the spark and having that own fire within you to kind of carry things forward, the Emperor is kind of about taking control, right? He is somebody who, how do I want to say this? I'm like at a loss for words right now. Is Mercury in retrograde? I'm not an astrologist. I don't even know. But it's stability, it's structure, it's authority, it's control, but it's also practicality, it's also focus and discipline. So it's kind of about control when it comes to the Emperor, and it kind of represents you taking your own authority and organizing what you need to do. And it's definitely a strategic thinking who sets out plans and kind of sees things through. It's the governance over everything. And part of that is that your higher self wants you to know that, and it's the same thing with the bite-sized tarot that I was talking about earlier. We have the 9 of Pentacles showing up again. And the 9 of Pentacles is just reminding you that you have everything you need. Okay, so there's nothing that should be holding you back in terms of even your own self, your resources, your ability to create this and get closer to your higher self, or achieve your max goal, or achieve and get to a higher level of being. Okay, maybe you just need to kind of spend some time with people who lift you up rather than tear you down. And that's something that we were kind of speaking to over here. If this has to do with more of a person or relationship, if it's an anchor, maybe you need to focus on people who actually celebrate you, who celebrate your wins and achievements, who lift you up instead of tear you down. So that could be a very specific message for some of you. And if there is someone who is not being your champion, not being your cheerleader, and always making you self-doubt yourself or kind of tearing you down, you got to cut that out. Okay, that definitely needs to go. Okay, because it's going to create these self-limiting beliefs, right? It's creating doubt. It's pretty much making you believe that you cannot achieve what is meant for you to achieve, and that's crap. I'm sorry. I'll just say it that way. That's crap. Let's get a couple cards for Mountain. Okay. Your higher self is chatty today. Yes. Okay, cool. So Ace of Swords, clarity, strong thinking, definitely. And the 3 of Pentacles, collaboration, seeking help, seeking guidance. So putting in the work with the Mountain, we're talking about getting through this with ease instead of difficulty. Okay. And part of that is going to have to do with you receiving some clarity and having some direction. Okay, so the Ace of Swords is clear thought, it's guidance, it's swift moving energy and action. And when it's rooted down with the Three of Pentacles, that speaks a lot to collaboration and relying on others to kind of help you move forward. So you do have having resources. So you do have resources and maybe some guidance that you can get. So maybe it's, just seeking some therapy from whatever this is that's kind of pushing you forward. Maybe it's spending time with these people that lift you up rather than tear you down. Either way, there is some sort of collaborative effort here that's really going to get you over this hurdle, okay? I think in terms of, what do I want to say here about like the Ace of Swords? It speaks to success, and I love that it's in the very, very back. I'm very, very back. What am I trying to say? I love that it's at the end with the mountain when it comes to talking about taking the path of least resistance, right? Because it's clarity, it's breakthroughs, it's focus and truth. So, this is the access point to a new beginning, okay? It's a fresh start, a mood emerging, and this is an excellent time to start, a new initiative, to move forward and to leave this stuff behind. It's taking decisive action too, okay? So, with that being said, I think that when it comes to the collaboration, if we want to be extra, extra clear on the collaboration, that is most likely going to be in your favor, is kind of that we're looking at cohesion, okay? So teamwork and shared goals. So maybe it comes down to seeking others who are on a similar path as you right now or going through similar situations. And it's, expanding your skills and your knowledge. So it's teamwork and implementation, right? So I think this is also a reminder to let you know that you don't have to do this by yourself. You're not alone. There's probably millions of people right now in this world who are going through this exact scenario with you. And if you reach out, if you want to, Reddit can sometimes be an absolute hole, but sometimes you can find other people on there who are going through similar situations, and you can kind of read really awesome perspectives of how people went through things, and you can throw your own comments out there and ask questions and that sort of thing. It's not a formal therapy space. It's more of collaborative effort. Or if you know people that are close to you that have gone through something similar to this, definitely reach out. Okay, so I'm going to get, I think that's pretty much everything your higher self wants to say. So I'm just going to finalize everything with just some, they're not affirmation cards. They're more about just actual, I guess you could probably say sometimes they can be used as affirmation cards, but I think sometimes they come out as reminders. Sometimes they come out as advice. It's just literally direct messages that they want you to know. So what is it, spirits, that you want them to know? Expansion. I'd like a couple. So can you, maybe two more? I will. Okay, cool. A new opportunity. Yay! And this one, because it wants to come out. Creativity. All right, my dears. So it says, new opportunity, insight gained from a new experience, job, or partner. And if coming apart and weathering a storm isn't a new experience, I don't know what is. But you are going to gain new clarity, new insight from whatever this is that is coming through, and is going to get you closer to your higher self. Now, and then we have creativity. Reminding you, your higher self is reminding you to have fun and express yourself in new ways. And I think that's cute that it came out with the creative pile over here, including the celebratory Three of Cups. Enjoy being with the people who bring you joy and create sparks within you, okay? Just saying. And then at the end, we have expansion. You are on track to pursue bigger and greater endeavors. So keep on this trajectory. You are getting closer and closer to your higher self and your higher good and your higher purpose in life. That sounds like it is amazing. But I think with that, yeah, are we pretty much good with all this here? I don't feel any other need to pull any more cards in. So I just want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this message resonated, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any, never miss a reading, okay? And if you'd like a personal intuitive reading for me, any way to get in touch with me, there is a link down in the description. So thank you again for being here. Love you guys. Until next time, take care. Bye.